The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 2024 summer edition of The Local Show.
Hey, summer edition.
There you go. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. The Local Show features conversations about local businesses. We talk to the business owners, CEOs, CFOs, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, business advocates, and other business-friendly organizations. We learn how they got into business and why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York, where their businesses might be going in the future. You're going to hear all about their successes, their challenges, opportunities, marketing, and advertising. We're broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts, and you can see us on YouTube as well. Good weekend to Steve Roberts. How are you there, Steve?
I am doing okay, Tom. Still a little sore.
Because you were riding your boat or
well, we're
skiing
moving some things around. No, I was actually, the boat is on blocks, so I was cleaning the side of the boat.
You're not going to catch many fish that way.
No, and so, you know, Oneida Lake sticks to your boat.
It does. you know when you've been on Oneida Lake.
And so it's on blocks so I can get to it. But man, even with strong clean, that's just a lot of...
it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
I don't miss that.
Right?
I used to get the acid and the stuff and, you know, yeah.
And it's, this stuff is strong, but it still requires a lot of work and you're dealing with it. So a little sore from those things, but, and my wife said, well, we should, get somebody to do it. Okay. My head goes, I got to pay someone to do it.
It was your nephew used to do it. He did my boat.
Okay, yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, now he's in the Carolinas.
Right. He did a great job.
He was excellent. He still is excellent, but he's not here and he grew up. Tom.
Well, that's too bad. Yeah. Well, anyway, we've got a great show all packed up for you. You can, as you're cleaning your boats individually, folks, you can listen to the show. Dave Sharon's going to be up. He's the president of Universal Windows Direct of Syracuse. Earl Hall is the executive director of the Syracuse Builders Exchange. Dave Pettit and Jessica Pensabene, founder, president, and senior account manager, respectively, for Elevattitt. They're going to be on the show, and we'll find out all about their business. Dave Knapp, Onodaga County legislator, and Onodaga County Agricultural Council co-chair, also a part of Onodaga Grown. When does he sleep? That's what you get asked. No idea. That's Dave Knapp. He'll be coming up to talk. And then Joe Scripa, owner of the Scripa Group, Real Estate and Property Management. Sean Patney is the owner of Preferred Powersports. We'll talk about all the great toys you can get up there. And then George Powers, owner of Powers Accounting, will stop by. And then Josh Lang will ring everything out. He's the pastor at Redeemer Church in Syracuse. All on the Local Show today, so stick around for that. We say another hearty, healthy hello to Dave Sharon. He was here just a few weeks ago. How are you there, Dave?
Oh, good morning. I'm doing great.
Great. So tell us about your journey. Where did you start and your entrepreneurial journey, and how did you become the president of Universal Windows?
I was in the landscaping business for many, many years and was really looking for a business that went all year long.
Oh, yeah.
The seasonality of the landscaping got old.
And a lot of stuff under your fingernails as well.
yeah, that's kind of fun sometimes, though.
Yeah, that's right. So you were looking for something that was more, had a little longevity. Do you install windows even in the cold season?
Oh yeah,
no
we don't stop. We go all year long. That is a question some customers ask.
Sure.
But when we do the windows, we don't exactly take all 10 out at once.
Yeah, quite a breeze.
One at a time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do people? When is time to replace a window, or is it just time to caulk it, or how old is too old for a window?
We replace windows in homes that are as little as, say, 10 years old. Up to houses that are 100 years old. Sometimes either the problems that they end up with the windows are either they fog up if it's dual pane, but probably the majority of it is the functionality of the windows opening and closing don't really work that well anymore. So people want a window that they can open and close without being a weightlifter.
Yeah, so. I remember my first home. It had balancers in
Tom,
the wall.
I was thinking those
and you could hear it, going up.
It had weights and a rope.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that. It was on like a wheel.
Yeah, the little wheels. Yeah,
and,
sure.
and if the rope broke, you'd smash your hand and it'd go goosh. So do you still see people that have those windows?
Oh yeah. We can pull those weights out of the walls, and we actually put foam in there to replace that empty cavity. But that's a lot of the older homes in Syracuse have those.
Okay. So what are people replacing with? What's a new window compared to an old? What are they getting?
The most common window nowadays is a vinyl window. There are other options, but the vinyl is by far the most popular option, and that's what we sell. We sell a 100% virgin vinyl window. We don't use any recycled products in the vinyl. It's a very strong product that's going to last a lifetime. It's not going to peel, chip, crack, or fade over time. It's a very solid material.
Do you have different colors?
We do. The vinyl can come in white or tan, and then we can actually, we have wood grain laminates for the interior, so it looks like natural wood, or we have several different colors that we can paint or laminate the exterior of the window also.
There are a lot of people who have a specific look to their house. It might be a wood clapboard or something like that. Do these windows fit in with all that style of a house?
Yeah, we can match pretty much anything that somebody currently has. We have a wide range of choices for the exterior.
And if somebody has like vinyl siding, and you have to put like on the outside of the window, isn't there like a capping that goes around?
Or? Yeah. Well, of course, just like we can wrap the exterior trim and
to match.
Again, a huge different number of colors that we can get that in.
Yeah, I would imagine that would be a concern. Steve was mentioning last week about Sean, who does the roofing, Top Notch, right?
Right.
And you were saying that he does a lot of historical buildings.
Correct, right? Where they have to have a certain thing they have to look and feel they have to do.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself in that space, or is that not relevant?
That's not really a space that we're in the historical.
Right.
They're more or less looking for like a replacement wood type window. Okay. Even though we can have the interior look like wood.
Sure.
They're pickier as far as the historical choices that they let you do.
Do you have box and bow windows and bay windows and things like that too?
Yep. We have bays, bows, garden windows, casements, double hungs, sliders.
The casements for people like Steve who are very intelligent in this space.
What's a casement?
Yeah, tell them what that is.
Explain. Yeah, the casement would just be just how the window opens. That's the cranker. When you see a cranker on the window, that's typically a casement or an awning.
Yeah.
The casement opens sideways, either left or right.
So why do they just call it a cranker?
I call them crankers.
Hey, my kind of guy.
Not as fancy. It's because that helps over the sink, you see, because over the sink, if you've ever tried to open a window, now you don't have a problem, Steve.
No, our old house.
Steve is 10 feet tall, right?
But no, we had crankers at our old house, and you'd reach over the sink. Yeah. That's funny. And they would open out. And they were
allowed easier for short Italian guys like me. We have to use the crank.
So if someone was looking to consider changing their windows, what's your process at Universal Windows? Do they talk to you? Do they send something online? How do they do it?
So most people end up on our website. There's a couple options on there. You can either book your own appointment on our website. We have a calendar on there. Or you can call the office. We can book it over the phone. Or you can fill out the contact form and we'll contact you.
Okay, so people, they might call 2 or 3 places. We're getting windows. What's it going to cost? Kind of a thing. So if someone wanted to be in that, if you wanted to be in that list for them, Universal Windows Direct, is that correct?
It's universalwindowssyracuse.com.
Universal Windows Syracuse. I stand corrected, Tom, pretty often. Universalwindowssyracuse.com. And is the 288-6855 a good number?
Yeah, that's the best number to call. Yep.
Okay, so maybe you just want to talk. You don't want to fill out a form, right? Dave, they can call you and ask some questions. So jot that number down, 288-6855. If you're thinking about your windows and want to talk to someone that is in that space.
Yeah, give us a call.
All right. Thank you, David Sharon, right there, president of Universal Windows Direct of Syracuse. Have a great day, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Earl Hall. He's the executive director of Syracuse Builders Exchange, right here on the local show on 570 WSYR. Don't go away.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Well, we're back into it and back at it. This is The Local Show with Tom and Steve. It's a product of Zoey Advertising, which is a full-service advertising agency. For those of you who don't know what advertising is, that's the commercials that you hear and things that you see now, a lot of social media and stuff like that. So Zoey Advertising are specialists in that space. Steve has a whole team of slaves. I mean, a whole team of people that work here. And he controls them all.
They're not slaves, they're indentured servants. Let's be clear. They're not the same. They're indentured servants.
Oh, that's great.
We got a great team here. And you're right. The digital and the video and photos and social media and a lot of radio commercials and that billboard we have over in 690.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the Steve billboard.
The Steve billboard, yeah. That has become electronically very popular. And people are getting business from being on it. And that's what it is, right? We want to do things that drive business to people.
Speaking of business, I went to see Stephanie at Blake Jewelers. She took care of us. Yeah, my wife lost a couple of the little diamonds that go on the outside of the big diamond.
Okay.
That I got her 31 years ago because we celebrated our 31st wedding anniversary.
Okay.
So it's funny you don't get a prize or anything. I guess the 3 kids were enough for us, right? Yeah. So I took it over to Stephanie, and she is able to replace those diamonds, and she's going to do up a little thing like that. And then Kelly had a ring that was bent. Mm-hmm. So she took care of the bent ring, and then she cleaned another ring. So she is just fantastic and at a fraction of the cost of some of these big box type places.
She says, diamonds for less, they really are. Like a third of the price. We've purchased several things out there, and she just knows what she's doing. If anybody doesn't know who we're talking about, Stephanie Blake Jewelry at Township 5.
Correct.
Next to Subway. So
and kitty corner to the theater.
And she's great.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, right now, it's our pleasure to bring a new person onto the show. His name is Earl Hall, and he's the executive director of Syracuse Builders Exchange. How are you, Earl?
Good morning. Great, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Sounds like a country song, Earl.
The Earl Hall Players.
I haven't met a guy named Earl since I met a country singer, actually. So, Earl, how long have you been involved with the executive director over there?
Well, I was hired back in 1992.
Oh, that's a while ago,
I graduated.
Did you know somebody that worked there?
Well, I did. So back in 1992, I was hired, and I think approximately 12 years later, I was migrated to the executive director position. And yes, my father, Earl N. Hall, was the executive director at the association for decades. And I think at the time they were looking for a transition plan.
Yeah. Did he start it?
No.
Because I just always knew the Builders Exchange and Earl Hall. I always put those two together.
Yeah.
My father had been there, I want to say, for in excess of 40 years. However, the association itself is the oldest construction industry association in the United States.
Well, tell people what it is.
Well, it was founded in 1872, so my father wasn't there when it was founded. However, the association is for commercial contractors, not residential contractors.
Okay.
We basically gather content, and we disseminate the content in many different fashions. So the main content that we gather would be construction projects that are in the planning stages, or construction projects that are in the bidding stages. Information that we gather could be news, it could be updates relative to OSHA standards, education and safety training content that we deliver both virtually and in person through our classrooms. So the content that we gather is vital to the industry, and we're the resource for those
commercial builders, would I include plumbers, electricians, and anybody in the trades as part of that?
Yes. So any employer engaged in the industry, whether you're union or non-union, whether you're a general contractor, you're a supplier, a manufacturer's representative, or a specialty subcontractor, which the majority of the members are specialty subcontractors. About 71% of the 970 firms define themselves as specialty.
You have 970 firms that belong.
Yes, sir.
What would be the benefit of somebody belonging then?
The benefit of an employer belonging to the association, number one benefit would be the electronic plan room, where we gather projects that are in the planning stages or projects that are out for bid from Buffalo to Albany, Messina, down through Binghamton. That's our footprint. And so we gather 7,000 commercial, industrial, institutional, both public and private projects for building construction throughout that geography. So it's a free service to construction project owners, whether you're public or private owner. This is a free service. So the architect of that owner, Zoey Advertising, is going to build a huge building in downtown Syracuse.
Oh, no, the news is out. No, just
And,
kidding.
and so you guys have I'm making this up, a $10 million budget. You hire the architect. He creates Steve's vision for what this is going to look like. And then it goes out to bid. Well, where does the architect send it generally, or the general contractors? They send it to the association. They know we disseminate that information to thousands of contractors throughout upstate New York. It goes through the Builders Exchange here in Syracuse, but employers in Buffalo and employers in Albany also have access to the same electronic plan room content.
So that is specs and what you need to bid. And if Tom's an electrician and he's like, this job is, they do a special, they got a room and a thing, and he feels it fits his company, he would then bid on it.
Yeah. So
or not bid on it.
You got it. So you'd look at the plans and the specs electronically, and then you determine whether or not you want to bid on that work.
Yeah. So a lot of people have said that the Micron thing is not happening. They'll say, "Oh yeah, this isn't happening." Even though the roads and everything are being built and the lines are being run and all that. So what do you say to that? Because you're seeing things probably happening, right? Because you have to get into the bid process.
So I have access to resources close to the executive team in Boise.
Okay, there you go.
And resources within the industry and the trades. Greg Lancette is president of our Building Trades Council, one of my closest allies and friends. And we discuss a lot of things relative to Micron and the impact that project will have on our construction ecosystem. And our ecosystem is fragile and delicate in this market, much like it is elsewhere when these mega projects come to town. And so we are preparing our ecosystem to adapt to this mega project that will be happening. I suspect that they will break ground in the first quarter of 2025.
Oh, that's soon. Okay.
And you will see activity happening on that property. It's happening now, but you'll see it continue to happen. Not only on that property, but off from 481, off from 81. You'll see a new water main coming from Lake Ontario. You're going to see new wastewater treatment plants built in the town of Clay. You're probably looking at another $2 or $3 billion of construction to support that.
So what you're saying is, if someone says it's not happening, they're full of garbage, Tom. That's what he said. That so much better than I would have. So it's happening, and that's what you're talking about.
It's going to happen. It's just to what extent will they complete it?
Okay.
Because the project labor agreement calls for up to 5 chip fabrication plants to be built on that property. Whether or not they build all 5 remains to be seen, but I do suspect they will start construction at some point in 2025.
So just really quickly, have you heard of any other ancillary businesses that of note that might be coming in and needing to be built?
So the answer is yes.
Okay.
And we've already seen them start here.
He has his I can't tell you look.
No, I just have to be careful sometimes what I say, but I can tell you that there have been at least 2 or 3 new companies that have relocated here and have built buildings that are active today because of the project. And I can tell you there's many, many more large employers that are already doing work on other fabs throughout the country that are coming here as well.
Excellent.
Builders Exchange in Syracuse, SYRABEX, Syracuse Builders Exchange, correct? Website.com?
Syrabex.com.
Syrabex.com. Information if you don't belong to Builders Exchange and you have a business like that, well, golly, get on board.
All right. Thank you, Earl. Thank
pleasure.
you for all you do. All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Dave Pettit and Jessica Pensabene. Dave is the founder and president of the company, and then Jessica is the senior account manager of Elevattitt. So we're going to get high.
Don't forget to bring a towel. What?
Coming up next on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back into it and back at it. If you're here, then we are too. That's the Local Show with Tom and Steve. Steve, tell me a little bit about Safe Harbor Wills and Truss. What about them? Are they still doing workshops?
They don't have a workshop right now. They have some in Watertown coming up. But right now, I'm working on my own stuff, Tom. I'm
Are you
finalizing
really?
my own things.
Good.
And there's certain things that are important. I'm not getting any younger.
I'd like your colored pencil collection.
You can have it now,
Thank you.
Tom.
All right.
You can have it now. And the microphone I broke. But if you haven't made a plan, make a plan. If you're not protected against long-term care, put the paperwork together, put a plan together, talk to John over at Safe Harbor Wills and Trust, 370-9977, 370-9977. Yes, it's the weekend. Leave up a message. Do what you're supposed to do. You know you've been talking about it.
SafeHarborWillsandTrusts.com. It's our pleasure to bring a couple of new people onto the show. It's Dave Pettit along with Jessica Pensabene, the founder and president of Elevattitt and the senior account manager, respectively. How are you guys today?
We're very well, thanks.
Good. So the elevator, I'm assuming this is elevator business,
Yes.
right?
It is.
There's no ups and down puns, Tom. Just don't go there.
Yes, it has its ups and downs.
You can
I'm
help
sure.
yourself.
But, elevators, I guess they're everywhere. You don't really realize it until you start walking into buildings. And, I don't know that we realize it as much in Syracuse as you would in Chicago or New York or something like that. How do you get into that business? Why would you start a business like this?
Well, I worked for Otis prior to this, and they're the largest.
Are they the
company in
largest?
world.
Okay,
Yeah.
got
So
it.
they would develop the safety, how instead of the ropes breaking and plummeting to the earth, they figured out how to make it so that you were
just
safe.
gave a whole bunch of listeners dreams. Good, bad dreams.
So that doesn't typically happen anymore? Are the elevators relatively safe?
Very safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
My wife is really afraid of elevators, actually.
Yeah. There are a lot of people that are, but they're probably one of the safest way to travel.
Yeah, interesting.
Tom doesn't like airplanes either. Can you help with that?
And it's funny. I'm okay with elevators. I always figure I can get out the escape hatch or
Well,
something.
if it breaks just at the end before it hits the bottom, jump. That's
Bugs Bunny, yeah.
Oh, God.
Going down, sir, right this way. Step in, going down.
Ollie, I'll tell you what. Now, what brings a young lady like you into the elevator business?
I like people. I like a challenge. And I really just like to help people. And that's kind of what we do.
So who would you? You're the account manager.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you get as an account? For
Anyone
elevators?
that has an elevator.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So that
We cover school districts, apartment
Okay.
buildings, there's
Department
restaurants.
stores?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's an elevator in this business. I don't know who did it, and it doesn't matter to me because
Yeah.
I don't pay for the elevator, right? But elevators also break, don't they?
They do.
So is that an opportunity? I mean, do you guys repair them or just sell them, or what's the scope of your business?
We're a full service elevator company. We have new equipment, modernizations, repairs, and service contracts. We actually take care of this elevator.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Would you put an elevator in someone's home?
We can. We don't particularly care to.
Okay,
Most of our business is commercial.
It's commercial. Okay. And what's your footprint? Like, who do you?
We cover Watertown area. We have stuff as far up as Messina, Ogdensburg, down to Binghamton, all the way out to Albany,
Rochester.
Rochester.
So it's
pretty
all
much
in state,
Central New
though.
York.
Central New York, yeah.
Correct.
Did you ever? Do you need to go out of state to find more business, or you got plenty now?
We have plenty right now. We did a job down in Pennsylvania, so there at some point we'll probably explore that again.
Right.
So if it's farther away, it's probably less profitable, a little more work.
Not always.
No.
Not always. You can get, you estimate in your time that you're going to be
Okay.
away. So
why would there's a whole bunch of elevator companies, names that I remember from history. How is there room in the space for you to step in and say, hey, we do it too?
I do it a little better than what everybody used to do. The business has changed dramatically, and I went into it thinking I can do this better, and I have so far. It's grown tremendously.
How better? How?
Customer service, offering good customer service. And when people call, we actually answer the phone and make sure that their issue is taken care of, and they know that they have somebody they can call and make sure they're good with what it is that they need.
I literally had a customer call me at 6:45 this morning.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay, so when an elevator breaks, like I typically take the stairs, except when the dog is with me. The dog prefers the elevator. At 15 years old, we walk in the building. She walks over and stands at the elevator. Okay, so if an elevator breaks, business stops, right? And commerce stops, and people are physically hurt by that. Is that fair?
That's fair.
In some cases, yeah. Depends on the building.
Right. So how is it that you can fix it, be there quicker than some of these companies that are huge and been around forever?
Different business model.
Okay. Based more on service?
Exactly.
Okay.
Customer service, reaction time, things of that nature. Like she said, she got a call at 6:45 this morning. We get calls at all hours of the night.
Right.
We make sure that we respond, and we have people on call, and everybody does, but sometimes people don't want to pick up.
Somebody pick up.
How many people do you have working for you?
22.
And when someone gets trained on elevators, I don't believe that there's an elevator school, is there?
Oh, yeah. This will be easy. So just like rearrange the buttons and stuff.
Yeah. Like when he presses door closed, the door's open, or he presses lobby, it goes to the third floor, stuff like that. Can you do that?
Yeah. Let me take a look at the circus board.
There is.
Really?
Yeah, there's CE2 training through NAEC.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a 4-year program.
And then do you have your own training as well?
We do have our own training program. Yeah, we do. We're certified through NAEC. So.
Let's dispel some of the myths, because people like my wife do get afraid of the modern elevator. Tell us how things have changed and some of the safety protocols that are involved so that people know that they're completely safe on an elevator.
That's the safety part of it has been pretty much the same since the beginning of time. They add a bunch of different things every once in a while, like rope grippers have changed, so inadvertent motion. Like in a traction car, if it's going up and it's going too fast or whatever, the rope grip will set and it'll stop the car, and somebody will have to come and let them out. But for the most part, it's been the same, and it's the same safety programs forever. What you see in the movies is not what happens in real life. So,
no.
Yeah.
So you had me at let them out. That may be, it was very smooth until you said, there's a problem, it stops it. So what you're talking about is people are actually stuck, and that's every elevator, that's everywhere, that's just the law and the rules. So now it's stuck, you hit that button that you never want to hit that says emergency, help me.
Call, yeah.
Who comes and gets them out?
We are stuck. Hank, can you hear us? Oh my God, okay, emergency protocol.
Just calm down.
Pam, try and pry open those front doors. Immediately.
I don't...
Use your talons.
One of our techs.
Okay.
Or, one of our techs.
And that's a safety thing. So actually, if it stopped, that's a safe thing. That isn't a bad thing.
It's a very good thing. It's a mechanical device. It goes up and down. And if there's something that happens, it'll stop for a particular reason. Sometimes it can reset itself and it'll go. Other times it has to have somebody come and take a look at it and get you out.
So if somebody has an elevator, lots of buildings have elevators, and they maybe were with a national company or whatever it was, and they want to change, are they on contract to stay with the company that built it or put it in forever, or can they switch and maybe get somebody that's more responsive like you guys?
They can switch. Most times they're under a term contract, and once the term is up, they can get with us and we can look at the elevator and let them know how we can help them.
Okay. And maybe they would consider you guys because of the things you mentioned a few minutes ago with service. They want someone. I mean, Jess, you get a call early in the morning.
Yeah.
That's annoying maybe, but when the person at the other end is in distress, they feel like there's somebody there. That's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So you do new installs too, though? So if someone's building a building, you can okay.
We do.
All right. And I know you guys were just saying hey to Earl that left on the Bills Exchange. So Elevate.com, is that correct?
Elevate it.
Elevate it.
Elevate it. So that's not correct. Elevate it.
Yes.
Elevate it.
So it's elevator and pet it combined.
Oh, look at that. Oh, there you go. Okay. So 476-5458. All right. So if you have an elevator question and the ups and downs here, 476-5458, elevate.it.com.
Very good. Thank you both, and you have a great rest of the day, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Dave Knapp. He's the Onondaga County legislator and Onondaga County Agricultural Council co-chair, along with being part of Onodaga Grown. So Dave's got a lot to say, and good conversation right here on the local show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back on the local show. That means what, Steve?
That means you are too.
That's right. The people listening are here as well. And if they weren't here, well, they wouldn't be listening, of course. Fun stuff. You know, I had my anniversary over the week and the 31 years of marital bliss, and my wife and I are, aside from me going to the gym and everything, we're also trying to get our steps in. So that's a challenge every day where we're looking at our watches and saying, okay, how many steps?
Does it bring you joy, Tom?
It does. Walking is wonderful, but here's what doesn't bring me joy. When I get done walking and I'm thinking that I'm making progress, the next day I still hurt. So no matter what I do, I'm always aching. The joints, and I don't know whether it's the hip flexors or my butt cheeks actually hurt.
Tom,
Too much information.
Yeah. Listeners will know that anybody over 50 things are a little sore. So,
yeah.
So what would your father say? Your mother would have said, "Suck it up, Buttercup," or something.
No. She died prematurely. She threw caution to the wind. But my father, he trains all the time, and I don't know. He's just tough. He doesn't care, He's like, well, you got the pains. Well, it's still you work harder. And he's a tough.
So he is the suck it up, Buttercup guy.
Yeah, and his hands, because of him playing for so long, being a musician, his hands are actually really bad now. Yeah. Like they hurt and they crippled on the hand, which stinks. But
we just brought all our listeners down.
No, people can relate to it.
Let's get Dave. Introduce Dave.
Speaking of someone who's in shape and went to where did you go to school?
Well, I graduated locally, obviously from Lafayette High School, and had the fortunate opportunity to attend United States Military Academy, West Point.
That's
absolutely.
Right. And they made you run and everything.
A little bit of soreness there. Yeah, definitely. In more ways than one.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Psychological and physical soreness. Yeah, absolutely.
We're talking with Dave Knapp. He's the Onondaga County legislator, and he's on the Onondaga County Agricultural Council. He's the co-chair, and then he's part of Onodaga Grown. Do you have any time to sleep?
We keep all the balls in the air one way or the other.
Then he works on the Apple Festival.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Do you wake up early like Steve here? Are you an early riser?
Yeah, well, relatively. Growing up on the farm.
Yeah.
Up with the chickens. As
Tom's still asleep.
Yeah.
Steve wakes up and all he does is watch YouTube.
No, I don't do that when I wake up. That's later. No, I'm moving. I don't watch YouTube in the morning.
That's fun. So, Dave, with all these things that you do, tell us first, what do you do as a county legislator? I don't know what they do.
Well, we've got 17 county legislators in the county.
Oh, Steve, what are you doing over there?
We all represent about 30,000 people.
Oh, really?
Yep. About, if you divide it all out. And, there's a lot going on in the community. Obviously, we work really hard on economic development with the county executive, and of course, Micron is, right. Every other sentence is Micron. But, the county does a lot of things that people don't know about. Of course, we got a wonderful park system. We take care of the roads and all that. But, the county also administers all the social services for the state and federal government. There's about 3,000 employees.
And you're involved in some way, shape, or form with all those kinds of decisions.
Absolutely.
For your constituents.
Yep. The legislature is kind of the decision-making body. And then, the county executive runs the day-to-day operations. And,
right.
How big is the agricultural footprint in Onondaga County?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, for a while we were losing acreage, but the last several years we've actually increased the number of acres in agricultural production in the county. And, and that's something we're managing very, very closely with, again, going back to the whole Micron situation. is, having to build more housing and things like that. We want to make sure that we're not sacrificing some of our best farmland, for housing developments. And so that's a balancing act that we're working on. We just passed a new farmland protection plan last year to make sure we keep this going. It's by far our largest economic driver in the community. And for a long time in New York State, agriculture was the number one.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, and even bigger than Wall Street and all that.
Good golly. Now, how do you balance the politics? Because, it would seem, and some people have made the case that they make it difficult for the farmer. Why is that? Why would New York State make it difficult?
Unfortunately in Albany, there's a lot of folks from downstate up there because that's what a lot of the population is.
Sure.
And, they don't understand what, they didn't grow up on a farm. They don't know about farming. They go to the store. The stuff is there. And so they just assume it's always going to be there. And so, we do our best. That's part of the Agricultural Council's mission, is to try and educate, our residents where their food comes from, as well as our elected officials and everybody to get them out on the farm, talk to a farmer, see what their challenges are, and
that's just part of your job is big into that, right?
Absolutely.
Advocating for the farmer.
Yep, definitely.
So how does Onodaga Grown help?
Well, we have our Buy Local campaign, which we're getting ready to kick off our another year of that shortly. And, we just want to remind folks that, the food you get, it's never going to be fresher, better tasting, or better for you than stuff that's grown right here.
Or less expensive.
Or less expensive than stuff that's shipped in from California or Mexico or, all over the place. You talk about, the environment and all that kind of stuff. Trucking in stuff from all around the country when you can buy it right here, that isn't helping either. And
is there anything better than locally grown sweet corn?
Oh, absolutely. And you're going to have some sweet corn folks on here in a month or so.
Oh my
on the local show. Absolutely. One of our farmers. And, we try to, for the show here, we try to have a nice mix of the various, people don't realize the diversity of agriculture we have in the county. Just this past week, I met a gentleman that grows rice.
Oh, no kidding!
In Fayetteville, and I had no idea that we grew rice.
Is that in a swamp?
That's what I thought. Yeah, exactly. So he's going. He invited me to come on. I really want to go see it. How it works.
I'm holding up some honey. You brought honey.
Yes, honey. I found over the years that I have a much better chance of getting invited back to the show if I bring Steve a gift.
We resemble that remark.
And so this is Highwire Honey, a wonderful honey producer right down in Lafayette that is really active in the community, does a great job. And so, I always want to help spread the word. Absolutely.
And there's a lot of homegrown beef, too. We have a lot of beef out here.
Absolutely. We have a lot of beef in the area. We've got some beef producers coming in to talk to you about how they do things and everything. And again, particularly with that, we have a lot of organic.
Yes.
Beef right here. Grass fed.
I used to think that was kind of hokey, but boy, I've changed my mind through education and through some of the folks that have been talking to me about it, that it is better. It's local. It's it makes a difference.
Sure. Let me ask you really quickly. So with the Onodaga Grown campaign, that culminates with On Farm Fest.
Correct.
When is On Farm Fest?
On Farm Fest is September 21st.
Okay.
We always have it in the fall during harvest time.
Sure.
And we're going to announce all the farms here in a few weeks. We're having a press conference and we announced the farms there, but we're going to have 12 farms this year. Again, a wide variety of the various producers in the county.
And all that info on onodagagrown.com, Tom.
Okay, sounds
great. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave, and you get back to your busy life, okay?
Absolutely. I always appreciate it. Thank you.
Kicking off hour number 2 of the local show, we're going to have a conversation with Joe Scripa, the owner of the Scripa Group Real Estate and Property Management. Sean Patney stops by. We'll talk all sorts of power sport toys with him. He's the owner of Preferred Powersports. George Powers, owner of Powers Accounting, in no relation to Preferred Powersports, will be on. And then finally, Josh Lang, pastor at Redeemer Church of Syracuse. Stick around. Hour number 2 of the local show starts really soon.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is hour number 2 of The Local Show. Get ready for engaging interviews with Joe Scripa, the owner of the Scripa Group, Real Estate and Property Management. Sean Patney stops by. He's the owner of Preferred Powersports. George Powers, owner of Powers Accounting. And then finally, we're going to talk with Josh Ling. He's a pastor at Redeemer Church in Syracuse, and hopefully that'll bring everything together for us. Right now, we say hearty, healthy hello to Joe Scripa. How are you, Joe?
Great, Tom. How about yourself?
Hanging right in there.
We finally got some sunshine out there.
Very nice. Yeah, indeed.
Warm weather.
And I feel that I'm going to overdo my vitamin D, but the doctor says no. Just keep taking it. Because
does that come from the sun?
Oh yeah, that's the best.
I don't
place
pretend to know these things. So
I'm loaded with vitamin D.
Yeah.
I'm a sun magnet.
Okay.
Joe can get dark skin really fast.
So what is that? So doesn't vitamin D make you happy?
Yes. Oh, there's lots of stuff.
You need more of it, Tom.
Well, yeah, I've taken bottles.
They say the darker your skin gets, the more melatonin you have.
That's
it actually
right.
starts to block it. It starts to block the vitamin D.
So then you got to take it.
That's why us Italians we're all depressed.
Well,
we start to block it.
My relatives are from Wales and Sweden. What chance do I have?
You'll get all sorts of vitamin D. It'll come right through.
That's great. So what have you seen in the real estate market, both residentially and commercially?
I'm going to tell you what I'm feeling here in town. This is I should put a disclaimer on it. Don't take it to complete heart, but it's what my predictions are. And what I'm seeing is the residential market remains extremely, extremely tight.
Mm-hmm.
When you say tight, explain that. What is tight?
Tight means limited inventory. Buyers, there's 10 buyers for most every house, unless the house is overpriced.
Yeah.
Okay. 3 things sell a house: price, condition, and location. And right now, pretty much anything in Syracuse or the suburbs is a good location.
Yeah.
So condition, if the condition of the house is decent, it all comes down to pricing. And right now what's happening is, a house goes on the market. One hit our office a few weeks ago around, I think, the mid 3s and bid up over 400,000.
So if you price it where it should be, you get more money. If you price it too high, nobody looks at it. It seems like there's
and it does. There's a stigmatism that happens there. Okay, so now I'm going to go on to commercial real estate. We have the same thing going on. Everybody says, well, there's signs everywhere. There's commercial real estate everywhere. Well, the fact is everybody leaves a sign up for good advertising and to get the phone calls. Okay. But the fact is industrial space, not available. You can't get big industrial space. Even retail space is starting to.
So zoning of industrial. So if I want to build widgets, is that industrial or commercial?
Well, most likely building widgets, manufacturing would be an industrial or a light industrial. Like in the town of Salina, they have multiple industrial classifications. So there's light industrial, which allows you for maybe building some small widgets or assembly. And then there's manufacturing and cutting steel with big process, like Solvay process or something like that.
Okay, they're not going to let me put that on Route 31.
Well, on Route 31 in the Micron zone, yes, that's going to be all an industrial park.
It is. Okay.
Yes. So in a lot of those suppliers will be supplying, equipment and tools and different parts and components for Micron. And it might be for their machines. It may not be for making the technology components. But now here's my real prediction. If you have real estate, it's time and you're thinking about selling it, there isn't a better time. I personally believe, based on everything I'm seeing, that we are not going to see a downtick of interest rates. I believe we are more likely to see an uptick in interest rates.
So you think things, okay, so that's why you're saying now rather than 2 points from now or if it goes back up?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not saying there's any definite that it's not going to go down. It certainly could. But if it does, I think it'll be a blip in the screen and it's going to pop right back up. Mm-hmm. I think everything's saying we're heading towards a different type of inflation that we saw in the 70s, the stagflation era, which means prices will just continue to rise, and we're going to see interest rates like we did when we were younger in the teens.
Yeah.
Tom's trusting Bidenomics. What do you say to Tom?
Well, I say spin the wheel and drop the ball on that roulette. You know? So I say now is the time. If you're thinking of selling, sell now, because if the interest rates go up, price compression does begin to happen.
And then people will be able to get their
And if
mortgages.
you own a piece of commercial real estate and you're trying to handle it on your own, we're getting into that market where it's getting a little funky because pricing is fluctuating. So I say get somebody on your side.
Right.
Now I want to talk about something kind of exciting. You guys are Liverpool-esque kind of guys.
Yes.
The Lakeshore Drive-In. Remember Lakeshore Drive-In?
Loved it.
Dude,
Yeah.
their little diner was in there too.
Okay,
Yes.
right now, if you drive by there, and we kind of put it together with the owners, great local owners, and a couple great companies in architects and JW Construction. We introduced them to the ownership over there, and if you drive by there right now, a whole new facade is going. It's been a little tired looking.
Yes.
But you're about to see the old Lakeshore Drive-In come into its own, get remanufactured. Thank you to Ryan McMahon, Onondaga County.
So what are they doing? What are they doing there?
Just new facade. You're going to see new facades coming on. Owners have a plan maybe to build another building out
There's
front.
land there.
Yeah, they got a lot of land. They've got about 10 acres. Great site for...
Can they put a drive-in in? Because I missed the drive-in.
I know, right? The drive-in would be kind of cool. It would have to be a technological drive-in nowadays, though, right?
Yeah.
Some sort of digital screen. But it's kind of cool for Liverpool. Everybody, close to us where we're sitting here now, Galeville area, Oop Meadows, all that stuff. People, the village of Liverpool.
New businesses that you know of?
No, but everybody in there right now, it looks a mess. And, because the construction's happening.
Yeah.
Diana Jewelers is there, for instance.
Absolutely.
And they're open. They're open. They've been there forever, right?
Yeah. The Chinese restaurant right there.
The Chinese restaurant. Everybody's open and operating. So, along with shouting out a great local owner and a couple companies in architects and JW Construction for putting such a beautiful new facade on that building. All those businesses are still operating in there today underneath all that construction, which is, so if you get a chance, go to Diana Jewelers, go to the Asian
restaurant.
Yeah,
And there's a karate place or something.
Karate's in there. Yep. There's a daycare center. Yeah.
So tell us, do you feel that anybody has room for hotels here? I mean, what are we going to do to get hotels?
We have so much room for hotels, and we've actually been involved with a couple, that might sprout. There's definitely room. I know that there's going to be some new ones in Liverpool, believe it or not, in Hotel Row up there. There'll be some new ones happening. I think there's definitely room in the downtown market. And there's opportunity.
Do you specifically look for businesses like that in your business? Do you like look to bring people in, or?
Well, typically we'll get, yes. The answer to that is yes. But more often than not, we'll be working with a developer and they say, hey, we have a Hampton Inn. Hampton Inn would like to be in this zone. Okay. Can you help us locate the right spot for that?
I see. Yeah.
So if somebody has property they want to have a conversation, 452-1200.
That's it.
Commercial, residential, whatever they're trying to do, 452-1200. ScripaGroup.com.
That is it.
And Scripa is spelled like it sounds.
SCRIPA.
All right. Thank you very much, Joe, and you have a great rest of the day, okay?
Yes, you as well.
All right. Sean Patney's coming up next. He's the owner of Preferred Powersports. We'll get the skinny on what's hot right now for toys in the summertime. Right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back at it again. Welcome to The Local Show. We've got a great guest this time, Steve.
Who's that? Because I see Sean.
Yeah, well, Sean's here. Sean Patney, owner of Preferred Powersports. And I'll tell you what, Sean, I have to thank you. Sean was trying to help me get into a thing. What's it called?
Spider?
Polaris Slingshot.
No, Slingshot.
Yeah, that's right. Not the
I forgot the name there because my wife beat it out of me. Stop thinking of it.
You were asking first. You shouldn't have done that.
Right.
They'll always ruin everything.
Oh boy, and I still don't see a lot out there. I saw one. We were on the way up to the casino, and there was one coming down Route 31.
Oh yeah, no, there's quite a few of them.
Yeah,
out there.
they've got to be out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Polaris Slingshot is just a wonderful machine. But I couldn't make it happen in my price point this year.
Not this time around.
No. Not,
well, you're working on the house. You're doing
not
a bunch
in this
of
lifetime for me, I guess.
You're doing a bunch of house stuff, aren't you? Again?
Well, no, not really. Just trying to clean up. I still have to finish my repairs inside. But anyway, they have a lot of things up there. Sean, owner of Powersports, Preferred Powersports, tell us a little bit about your complete product line, what people can find over at your place.
Yeah, we've had this conversation a couple of times with people, and it takes a while to get through all the product, but we do. We're obviously we're a motorcycle dealership, ATVs, side-by-sides, personal watercraft. We got some pontoon boats. In the winter off season, obviously, we cover snowmobiles, trailers. So whether you're on road, off road, on the water, we got you covered.
Approximately, how many items do you have up there?
Oh, right now we've actually sold through quite a few the last few weeks, as you can imagine, with the weather.
Sure.
I'm sure there's still a good 380 to 400 there right now. So
I saw them from the road. I was going by, coming down, and I looked over that way, and I could see that you sold a bunch of them.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a lot that were sold, and then a lot of the watercraft that were stored for the winter. Spring startup was taken care of, and everybody gets in there for Memorial Day. They want to get out onto the water for Memorial Day. So we think we got a few hundred people out on the water, so we're good.
So in the realm of personal watercraft, what's the main brand that you carry?
So we carry all three brands. We carry we carry Sea-Doo, we carry the Yamaha Wave Runner, and the Kawasaki Jet Ski. So we carry all three.
Does Yamaha still have the water stream that comes up? And
they do. Yeah. That's one of their little signature
things.
Yeah, it's a little signature, but it actually was done for safety.
Yeah.
Initially, it was probably a cool factor, but also safety.
Right.
Pretty visible if you're out on the water.
Easy
to see them.
I know there's a Yamaha.
Everybody knows it's a Yamaha, but people know there's a personal watercraft there too, which is helpful.
I was up at 43 North. My boat's on blocks. I was cleaning my boat, and there was a Sea-Doo right up. Like 6 or 7, slots up, and I was going to walk up. I was going to bet there's a sticker from you on it. I just didn't come out from underneath my boat long enough.
Sea-Doo personal watercraft or Sea-Doo the pontoon boat?
It was the personal watercraft.
Personal watercraft. Okay.
Yeah, and the pontoon boat. How is that different?
Then what?
Then a comparable one that wasn't Sea-Doo.
I think the first thing is the Sea-Doo is powered. It's jet powered, jet pump, internal, so no external propeller or anything like that. So it's a 3-hull unit, and the center is an inboard motor with the jet pump. Pretty well protected up in there.
So if I'm in seaweed, am I okay, or be careful?
I don't think you're okay in seaweed if you're no matter what boat you're in.
No, that's true. Tom,
or you talk about swimming.
You're either taking it out from your prop or taking it out from the impeller.
Yeah. People on YouTube just saw Tom make a face at me like, you idiot. If there's seaweed, you're going to be in trouble anyway. Both of you made that same look.
Go around.
Yeah. You don't want to get that sucked up in there. People make a mistake. They'll take you watch them go in with their Sea-Doos into the bays, when it's really crappy, like August-ish, and they get problems. We're
always cautioning people with the personal watercraft too. Shallow water is tough.
Yeah.
People just they get excited, and you can do some damage in the shallow water when you suck everything up off the bottom of the lake.
Because you're not going to hit the prop because there's no prop.
Right, but you'll pull stuff up from the bottom of the
of course.
What's your favorite watercraft that you would like to be on?
Oh, that's tough. I shouldn't say that.
You don't want to sound biased.
I am, but I'm not going to say that.
So talk to me about service, because that's important too. People who buy any type of a unit that you've mentioned need service on it. They need setup, and they need a place they can rely on.
Yep. So setup, anytime we're selling a new unit, obviously we're going through a pretty thorough setup process, and we'll go over that with any potential buyer so they understand what we're doing. But for service after the sale, whether you bought it from us or someplace else isn't a major concern of ours. We've got 7 guys out in the back service department.
That's got to be the largest around, wouldn't?
It's we're up there. It's a challenge though. It's literally thousands of units a year to get serviced, and it's difficult. Things are broken. Parts are tough. Just it's not as easy as people think it is.
Dave Knapp from Onondaga County, he mentioned you between the sets a few minutes ago. He was saying, "Hey, I have my stuff serviced up there," and he didn't realize. He didn't get it from you. He's like, I found them after I had my unit, and he was bragging about your service. Actually.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
He was very happy. Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that. We try pretty hard. We're not perfect, but we try pretty hard. So,
how much of your base, people who buy stuff from you, are farmers or agricultural people?
It's probably not a huge number. It's in the low single percentages.
Okay,
I think we're kind of a little bit urban. I mean, even though it is Cicero, it is kind of an urban technicality, but
more there's a sporty people.
Yeah, is the redneck stereotype, is that bad, good, or is it just is?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Because when I'm up there, I'm going, and I consider myself in that. If you look at the things that define, what you drive, what you believe, who you worship, I probably fall into those camps. But I see the products and I see the things, and
it's all walks of life. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah,
the variety of people. It's just absolutely astonishing. It really is.
Because you're on one of those 3-wheelers and stuff. You're not a hillbilly or a redneck. That's
I don't know. Don't pick on my people. But it's the 4-wheelers and those things.
Well, those are different. Those are hunter fishermen and all that stuff.
Yeah. No, we a ton of people that are just really into the outdoors, obviously. I mean, whether it's hunting, whether it's fishing, whether it's just getting outside and doing something different. I mean, that's what we're looking for, and they come from all over. It's awesome.
And you have a full suite of accessories as well.
Yep.
So anything you need to put on your body.
You must have
helmets.
300 helmets. This is going to go.
If that's all I have is 300, that's great. I think it's a lot more than that.
Okay.
We sell thousands of helmets a year. We sell thousands of batteries a year. We sell thousands of gallons of oil a year. It's what we do, and it's you're always trying to figure out what to stock in the store. Everybody always asks, what's the method to your madness, and part of it is we look at our suppliers to see what the more popular selling items are, and sometimes it's just you take a chance. You talk to a supplier, you kind of look at trends in other markets, and you make some educated guesses. Hopefully,
can people still get your products delivered and on the road this season? So you're not too busy.
No, absolutely. I mean, no. I mean, we don't love to do a delivery in the same day. There's a lot of paperwork involved. We can do it. It's not our preference. People have to get insurance, they have to get registration, they have to get things taken care of, and we'll do the registration. But insurance is often a holdup, and sometimes with financing, it takes more than just 15 minutes to get it done.
So people get off the Cicero exit, just go north there a little bit, a couple miles.
North on Route 11, a couple minutes,
and they'll see it right there.
Yep.
4-wheelers, watercraft, all kinds of things. Yep. And when are you open?
We're open Monday through Friday from 9 until 6, and Saturdays from 9 until 2.
Excellent. Sean Patney right there is the owner of Preferred Powersports, has a full team over there that's ready to serve you both in the service part of it and the sales part of it. Thank you so much for being here.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. George Powers is coming up next. No relation to Preferred Power. Okay, but George Powers is going to be here. Owner of Powers Accounting right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back into it, and so happy to have you along for the ride. It's Tom and Steve from Zoey Advertising, bringing you The Local Show.
How's your lawn, Tom?
My lawn is growing fast, so I think that Nicholas may have set my push mower to the wrong height. I think he was trying to get away with not having to mow it as much, so he lowered it.
Okay.
So now it's lower than the actual riding mower. So now when I trim out the lawn, it's got two different heights to it.
Was it the heights, or did it go brown? Because you go too low.
No, because we've had so much rain, I'm not worried about the browning yet. However, but it's different lengths. So like if I, mow one patch that might be harder to get so I don't twist around with the rider. It's just in a different.
Well, in your neighborhood, you're going to get in big trouble.
I'm going to get a notice.
The homeowners association.
So what you're saying, the mistake he made was not lowering the rider as much.
He would have to lower the rider even more to match it.
Do you make sure you clean up the landmines from the dogs before you take it out there? Because you get that in the tire, and then that creates a challenge.
We have a family. We joke is when my daughter was a teenager, we'd make her go out and mow the lawn, and we had a big dog at the time, a golden retriever, and she hated that. So she'd go through and just cut all of over the dog poo, whack it all. And then I think the idea was do it as bad as you possibly can.
So Dad will go out and do it.
Yeah, so I don't have to do it again.
So Tom, who is that talking?
That is George Powers. George Powers is with us, ladies and gentlemen.
I forgot I hadn't been introduced yet.
Powers Accounting, and a fantastic businessman. Tell people what you do in your business at Powers Accounting.
Well, we do a lot of things, but primarily what we're doing these days, we've got our payroll side, Payroll Made Simple. Yeah. It's been very, very busy. We do payroll for local businesses, and we have communications with them. We talk to them.
Why would someone not want to do their own payroll?
Because it's a nuisance, and there's a lot of small little challenges that need to be done. If you're a day or two late, there's penalties. It's just something that's constant and consistent. You can still certainly do it yourself, but you got to pay a payroll program to do it. And those programs aren't necessarily cheap, and you can do anything you want on them. I've had some clients that have done that, and they set things up that, for example, they're going to pay a bonus. Well, they don't want to have taxes.
Why would they want to do that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Different question. But they don't want taxes paid on it. So they set up this bonus that's non-taxable. Well, it's all wrong. The program will let you do anything you want to do. You just have to know what you should be doing. And they're not payroll people. They don't know some of the details there. So they don't have enough, I guess you would call restrictions, enough fences on what these folks can do, and they can kind of mess up their payroll at times.
I think way back when somebody had a business, they kind of had a sense of self-accomplishment or hey, I'm the leader, or this is my business, when they used to sign the check.
Or you can still sign the check if you want to.
Right.
Old school,
right.
I haven't signed a check in years.
But nowadays, with all the electronic transfer and everything, I don't think that people get off on that as much.
No, you don't even want to anymore.
Yeah, you
just get it done.
Right.
And now it has created a world that you have to be much more careful with security.
Oh, yeah.
Because, with email hacks and everything else, you just have to be very, very careful. I would say that we get at least 1 week, if not more often, emails from various different things that are just spams. I will sometimes, every three or four times a year, I'll get an email from one of my quote employees who said they've got a new bank account. My office is not that big. They can just walk down. By the way, I just changed my bank account. No, you really didn't. So you have to be very vigilant with security these days, certainly in any industry but ours.
In the old days, they would attack the wagon that was carrying the payroll.
You just had to hire a whole bunch of big guys with guns.
But nowadays, it's electronic scamming.
And we were talking these days, not too long ago, about the AI. Yes. And how the deep fakes, and they can actually fake your voice. Yeah, and crazy. You can't even accept people, they were coming to a point, someone calls and you recognize the voice, you can't even accept that anymore. We have to create some better security methods so we don't get, hacked in that way.
Makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. It's becoming a bigger issue, and it's just going to continue to be so. So, that's just part of what we have to deal with these days in our industry. As every industry, we just have to deal with a lot of money things. So, we have to be a little more diligent.
How's small business doing right now?
Most are doing fantastic.
Yeah,
really and truly, most are doing wonderful. Certainly the real estate market and the construction in this area is going gangbusters. There's a lot of good stuff going on in business. There's always going to be a few that struggle, but for the most, people are doing pretty good, I would have to say.
I know you don't have your tentacles into all different types of businesses, but you have a good variety of businesses that you do business with. So do you see anybody ramping up for the whole Micron thing and all of this, the amount of people coming to town and all that?
Everybody's talking about it. And certainly the real estate market in the northern area of the county has gone up. The commercial has gone up dramatically. And people are buying up stuff left and right up there. So we're seeing that. The ramp up, I'm not seeing a lot of yet. I think we will. I mean, there's still a lot of things that are going to, not a lot of construction. They've got to completely redo the 81 overpass. We need more.
Got to make more schools, don't we?
More schools.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so much that has to come. But we're talking, 9 years? It will be coming. We will have more and more. And I think it's going to be an incredible economic boom for this area we haven't had in a long, long time.
I just didn't know if anybody was coming to you saying, hey, I'm opening up this kind of business because I feel like we're going to need this type, other than pot stores. Because that's all I see opening.
There's a lot of those opening
up. You can't eat a bag of Doritos and not see a pot store now. They're everywhere.
That's right.
LED lights and bongs. That's all I see.
There's only so many of those. I think that's going to go the way of the old video stores.
Right.
Everywhere, and then they're going to condense themselves down.
You're so right.
Everybody's going to make $1 million in the marijuana business. And it just doesn't occur.
Certain brands or categories of business that you see are prospering?
I would say certainly construction is doing well. A lot of the maintenance folks are doing really well.
I was going to say, like landscapers.
I see them
have
doing
a lot of them. Yeah.
I see, for some reason, I've been noticing a lot of them doing quite well lately, which means, in my opinion, then people are doing well enough they can pay landscapers to come do their stuff.
You mean like you do, George?
Like I do. Yeah. Mine's a local high school kid, but hey, but a lot of people are doing that. I would say restaurants are doing reasonable. Everybody's has their ups and downs, I would say.
Right.
But right now I'm seeing most people are doing decently well. I mean, not as well as that has been at some times, but certainly I'm not seeing any great economic struggles at this point.
I haven't seen a lot of flower shops. I think that Home Depot is taking that market by storm now.
That's been the florists over the last 20 years have been just.
That's too bad.
All the the Wegmans and the Home Depot that you can buy flowers now so easily that people don't do as much of that.
Or you can send an emoji of a flower there, and I just
and that's not an economic thing. That's just an industry change.
You're right,
and those have been going. And you look at, we talk about different things. Restaurants. Look at what has happened in restaurants in the last 10 years.
What has happened?
I mean, the price has doubled.
Or more, but they've gone up a lot. But if you look at, they used to have just regular kind of, chain restaurants. Now you got some really fancy, nice places. In order to have a restaurant, you've got to keep a restaurant. You've got to amp up. You got to really have your game going these days to be in a restaurant. So it's interesting.
Eating out is expensive.
It is.
It is crazy.
It's going to go up. It's not expensive enough from the financial side. They need to raise their prices even more.
Don't tell them that. It's rough now.
We call those things paradigm shifts.
Is that what it is?
I don't know what I'm talking about.
The problem is the costs have gone up so much, and the labor costs have gone up so much that the prices actually still have to go up.
When you walk in and you get takeout and you got a bag of food, do you tip, George?
Yes, because I don't. Because usually you put it on the credit card. I don't want them to spit in my food as I'm getting it. Do I like to do that? No, but I do it.
Professional advice from a business bookkeeping and accounting company, George Powers, gpowers.com. Remember, tip or you'll get spit. Okay.
Very nice. Thank you, George. Have a great rest of the day. Coming up next, Josh Lang. He's a pastor at Redeemer Church here in Syracuse, and he's going to be on the local show on 570 WSYR. Don't go anywhere.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
You found it, the last bastion of great talk radio. It's right here.
On
Tom,
the Local Show. You can't help yourself.
With Steve.
It's the last one. It's not the last one.
Well, it's...
but you know what annoys me?
To hear Steve talk is like golden jewels.
Oh, my goodness. But it is summer sort of, kind of, almost.
Yeah. This is the official summer. It's funny. This year, I think I was telling you, it's the first year the wife and I have had the garden beds and the stuff around the trees all done. So, we're just honing things in, putting the bird feeders where we want them.
So you can just sit around and
enjoy.
Evenings and weekends and enjoy?
Now you can actually go out and enjoy and just maintain, right? But I've noticed how many people around my block are behind the 8 ball now, and they're just starting to put their plants in.
Well, compared comparing to
all
others,
that
Tom, is a
stuff.
losing battle because some will be ahead,
Absolutely.
some will be behind. Just don't do it.
Right. Well, I'm not comparing. I'm just noticing that other people have not gotten off the
So you're
dime
plant
yet.
envy.
Yes.
Is this what you're telling me?
I killed my what was that plant I like? Oh, I'm going to forget
Grass?
the name of it. No, not the grass. It's the hydrangeas. I love hydrangeas. So we
What'd
had
you
this
do?
beautiful hydrangea, the new one, and we put it in the mound. And I had all this weed and feed, the flower stuff that enhances the flowers.
What did you do? You burned it out, didn't you?
I sprinkled it on there like it told me to do, and the plant died.
Did you water it?
Yes, I watered it. I must have put too much on there, and it just, like you say, it burned it and killed it.
Oh, you did
Anyway,
that
I went out and got another one.
You did that. You did that to your son Nicholas, and he got huge when you fed him.
Right. Oh, goodness. Anyway, so here's Josh Lang, ladies and gentlemen. He is a pastor at Redeemer Church in Syracuse. How are you, Josh?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me again, guys.
Well, thank you for being here. And the idea is that we want to expose people to what you do at Redeemer Church and why it might be a good option for them to come and visit you over the weekend.
Yeah, well, we have a very convenient location right across the street from Nottingham High School. As
Yes.
Steve always reminds me to talk about.
Nobody knows the address. Do you know the address?
3217 East Tennessee Street.
But nobody knows that. It's like,
I wouldn't know. But.
So we have a great location, so we're easily accessible for folks.
Sure.
But also, when you come to Redeemer, our desire is that you would experience the presence of God in your life through the community that we have, through the teaching that we bring from God's Word, and also just through being there, because we believe that God is very real and He's very present with us as we're gathered together.
Even when Steve's there.
Yeah. Right. That just shows us how gracious God is.
Very nice.
So, Tom usually asks the hard questions. I want to ask one.
Go ahead.
Oh boy, here we go.
Okay. Your son Parker, who we love.
Yep.
Okay, is type 1 diabetic.
Yep.
Come on, God. What the heck? Is that a fair question?
Yeah, because what you're indicating is that he's a pastor, he's a man of God, and then he has a son who has an issue like that.
And it breaks my heart. I'm like, okay, God, if you're gonna heal anybody, heal him.
Why does he have to have that challenge?
Yeah. Why?
With 5 minutes counting down. Well, it is one of those things. We've, I think, coming up to September, it'll be 9 years since he was first diagnosed. And it is a difficult thing as a parent having a child go through an ongoing battle that really, unless the Lord absolutely heals him, we're going to be dealing with this for the rest of our lives. Right. And one of the things that we look at is that we start with the fact that we know that God is good. Mm-hmm. And we always say this is that, you know what, nothing catches him by surprise.
But it might be hard for people to start there.
Absolutely.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
It is fair. But that is a place, again, that helps begin to shape our worldview, because we look at who God is, but we also look at who we are. And we know that this world, because of what happened in the garden, is explained in the book of Genesis and in Scripture, that sin came into this world, and this world is no longer operating the way that God created it to be, and sickness and death are a part of this world. Now, the Christian hope that we have is that we can go to God. He invites us to pray and to talk to him and say, God, would you do this? And sometimes God does heal. I've prayed for people and they've been healed. You know what I mean? And I've prayed for my son all the time, and we haven't seen that happen. And that's a difficult thing to reconcile. But the Christian faith, there is a durability to it, if I could say it this way, is that we know even if in this lifetime God does not heal Parker, we know that one day when he comes again, when Jesus Christ comes again, that he's going to make the world brand new. And the way that I like to illustrate it is this: when he was first diagnosed, that's when you're doing insulin injections, you're doing finger pokes, all these different things.
3 years old?
He's just shy of his 5th birthday, so 4. And so this is a brand new world world for us. And it was actually so crazy, because we were at Joslin Diabetes, rushed out here, and Upstate was packed. There's no room. So they're like, we're just going to train you and send you home because he's close enough to stable. And so in few hours, we get trained on figuring out carbs and calculating, how much insulin we're going to give him. And what we do is now we go from, in one moment, your life drastically changes. Right. And so we go now to at least 4, finger pricks every day, 4 insulin injections every day, when we never had it before. And just think about that. You're having to give your kid injections.
That's my.
And so, but here's the hope that we have is so a little boy trying to figure this out, we'd be doing lunch or something. We always had this routine that he would ask. And so we'd do the finger prick and, the number comes up for his blood glucose. And he would say, he'd say, Dad, am I high? And, depending on the day, it's like, no, you're not high. And he goes, well, am I low? And he'd say, no, I'd say, no, you're not low. And he goes, well, am I perfect? Mm. And that was hard as a parent.
That hurts.
That's hard because I'm going to tell him, which I did as any parent would, yeah, bud, you're perfect. Mm. But in my heart, I knew another reality that I'm living every day, which wasn't true. But here's the hope of Christianity is that even if God says not yet in the prayer, to answer it, we know that one day he will answer it. And that same question, I sometimes think about it, and I know this is allegorizing a little bit, but I think about having that conversation with him in heaven. Mm. Is Dad, am I high? No. Oh. Dad, am I low? No. Am I perfect? And I'm going to be able to say that because we serve a God who not only created the world, but is sustaining us now, and one day is coming back again to make it brand new. And that's the hope of Christianity, and that's what I hold on to. So why does my son have type 1 diabetes? The best answer I can give you is right now is I know that we live in a sinful, broken world, but God has not left us there. He's made a way to redeem it. And at the cross, not only do we have forgiveness of sins, but we see the beginning of the restoration and renewal of all of creation.
Yeah. Well, Redeemer Church, thank you. That's a heartfelt story. Yeah, Josh, and it's the truth, and it's the truth. And I know everyone there is defective because I go. But thank you for sharing that. Redeemer Church Sunday, 10 a.m. directly across from Nottingham High School. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Have a great rest of the day, Josh. All right, Steve, that's going to wrap up the local show. So now you can get on your boat. Well, no, you can't because it's on bricks.
Oh, be quiet.
Maybe you could clean it up a little more, would you? Yeah. All right. You have fun whatever you're doing, all right? On behalf of Zoey Advertising, Tom and Steve in the local show, God bless you and your families. Make some time to relax and exercise today and every day. Do it with a friend or family member. It'll keep your mind and body healthy. The local show is heard every Saturday morning from 11 to 1 and then again on Sunday morning from 7 to 9. Listen together with a friend. It's more fun that way. Until next week, get down to business and keep doing business locally. Tell your friends about the local show right here on 570 WSYR, 106.9 FM, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube at Zoey Advertising.